On July 4, 2013, Kenny Veach walked into the Nevada desert while his hiking companions watched from 30 feet away. He was heading toward a small cave opening he'd been obsessing over for months. He crawled inside. He never came out. And what search teams found 3 months later didn't just baffle investigators, it terrified them. Because according to experts, what happened to Kenny Veach is physically impossible. This is one of the most disturbing disappearances in modern hiking history. Not because Kenny vanished in some remote wilderness where anything could happen, but because he vanished in front of witnesses. In broad daylight. With a fully charged phone. And a GPS tracker. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, have you ever felt something was wrong about a place? Like you shouldn't be there? Keep that in mind as this story unfolds. Because Kenny felt it too. And he ignored it. Kenny Veach was 47 years old. A seasoned outdoorsman from Las Vegas. This wasn't some amateur who got in over his head on his first trail. Kenny had been exploring the Mojave Desert for over 20 years. He knew the dangers. The heat. The terrain. The wildlife. He'd survived situations that would have killed inexperienced hikers. Kenny worked construction, but his real passion was hiking. Every weekend, he'd disappear into the desert with his camera, exploring abandoned mines, hidden canyons, remote areas most people would never see. His girlfriend, Shireen, said he was careful. Almost paranoid about safety. He always told her exactly where he was going. Always carried emergency supplies. Always came back. Until he didn't. Pause. The story really begins in November 2014, when Kenny posted a seemingly innocent comment on a YouTube video about mysterious caves in Nevada. He wrote, "I found a cave that made me feel strange. A weird vibration. The closer I got to the entrance, the worse it felt. I want to go back and find it again." Some people laughed. Others said he was making it up. But Kenny doubled down. He described the cave in detail. Said it was shaped like an M. That's why he called it the M Cave. And he said something else. Something that should have been a warning. He wrote, "It felt like the cave didn't want me there." Over the next few months, Kenny became obsessed. He went on multiple solo expeditions trying to find the M Cave again. He'd hike for hours, sometimes entire days, searching. He started a YouTube channel to document his searches. Posted videos of himself hiking through the desert, talking to the camera, describing what he was looking for. In one video, you can see him getting frustrated. "I know it's out here," he says. "I just can't remember exactly where." His girlfriend Shireen grew concerned. She said Kenny wasn't sleeping well. He'd wake up in the middle of the night talking about the cave. Drawing maps. Planning routes. It's like he was being pulled back there. She later told investigators. Like something was calling him. Friends noticed the change too. Kenny, who was usually easygoing, became irritable when anyone suggested he stop searching. Some people thought he was having a mental health crisis. Others thought he'd become addicted to the attention his videos were getting. But Kenny insisted the cave was real. And he was going to prove it. On November 10, 2014, Kenny made a decision. He wasn't going alone this time. He'd bring witnesses. 2 other hikers, let's call them Paul and Sarah to protect their privacy, agreed to join Kenny. They'd met through the online hiking community. They were experienced. They had proper gear. And they were curious. If Kenny was telling the truth, they wanted to see this cave for themselves. They started hiking at 6:30 a.m. The Sheep Mountain Wilderness, about 50 miles northwest of Las Vegas. Rugged, remote terrain. Temperatures already climbing into the 80s. Kenny was energized. According to Paul, he seemed almost manic. He kept saying, "We're close. We're really close even though we'd been hiking for hours." Around 1:45 p.m., they reached a ridgeline overlooking a small canyon. Kenny stopped dead in his tracks. "That's it," he said, pointing down. "That's the M Cave." Paul and Sarah looked where he was pointing. They could see something, a dark opening in the rock face, maybe 200 yards away. Small. Partially hidden by brush. But here's where both of their accounts get strange. Sarah later told investigators that the moment she saw the cave, she felt nauseated. "It sounds crazy," she said in her statement. "But I felt like we shouldn't go near it. Like we were trespassing on something we weren't supposed to find." Paul described it differently. He said the cave entrance looked wrong. Not dangerous. Not scary. Just wrong. Like it was out of place. Like his brain couldn't quite process what he was looking at. Both of them wanted to turn back. But Kenny was already moving toward it. "Just wait here," he called back. "I'm going to check it out real quick. 10 minutes tops." They watched him climb down into the canyon. Watched him navigate the rocky slope with practiced ease. Watched him push through the brush and crouch down at the cave entrance. Kenny pulled out his flashlight. Shined it inside. Turned back and gave them a thumbs up. Then he got down on his hands and knees, and crawled into the darkness. Paul and Sarah waited on the ridgeline. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then 30. They called his name. The desert swallowed their voices. Paul tried Kenny's cell phone. It rang. They could actually hear it ringing faintly from somewhere in the canyon. But Kenny didn't answer. After 45 minutes, they made a decision. They climbed down to the cave entrance themselves. The cave opening was small. Maybe 3 feet high, 4 feet wide. You'd have to crawl on your stomach to get through. Paul got down and shined his flashlight inside. The tunnel went back about 20 feet. Maybe 25. Then it just ended. Solid rock. No passages. No chambers. No exits. A dead end. Paul crawled inside. All the way to the back. He could touch the wall where it ended. There was literally nowhere else to go. Kenny wasn't there. Sarah tried her phone's flashlight, searching every inch of the cave. No hidden crevices. No holes Kenny could have fallen through. The cave was exactly what it looked like, a shallow tunnel in the rock. But Kenny Veach had crawled in and never crawled out. And that should have been impossible. They called 911 at 2:47 p.m. Search and rescue arrived within 2 hours. They brought dogs, thermal imaging equipment, and experienced cave rescue specialists. They searched that cave thoroughly. Brought in ground-penetrating radar. Checked for hidden passages. Looked for any explanation. Nothing. The lead investigator, a 20-year veteran named Mike Roberts, later said in an interview, "I've seen a lot of strange things in search and rescue. But this one bothered me. There was nowhere that man could have gone. Nowhere." The search expanded. Maybe Kenny had somehow exited the cave while Paul and Sarah were distracted. Maybe he'd gotten disoriented and wandered into the desert. They searched for 3 months. Over 200 volunteers. Helicopter sweeps. Drones with thermal cameras. They covered more than 100 square miles of desert. On January 19, 2015, 70 days after Kenny disappeared, hikers found his cell phone. It was sitting on a flat rock, 3 miles from the cave. The battery was dead, but the phone was otherwise undamaged. No cracks. No water damage. Just sitting there. Placed there. No footprints around it. No signs anyone had walked to that location. The surrounding dirt was undisturbed. 2 weeks later, searchers found some of Kenny's belongings. His wallet. His ID. His car keys. But they were scattered across different locations. Miles apart. As if someone had deliberately distributed them across the desert. Still no body. No blood. No evidence of what happened. Kenny Veach had simply ceased to exist. So what happened? Theory 1, accident and exposure. Kenny somehow got out of the cave, became disoriented, and died somewhere in the desert. His body just hasn't been found yet. But this doesn't explain the physics of disappearing from a dead-end cave. Or who placed his phone so carefully on that rock. Or why his belongings were scattered in multiple locations. Theory 2, staged disappearance. Kenny faked his own death to escape his life. But how? Paul and Sarah watched him enter. The cave had no other exit. And Kenny left behind everything: his money, his home, his girlfriend. Why? Theory 3: Military involvement. The Sheep Mountain Wilderness is near Nellis Air Force Base and the Nevada test site. Some believe Kenny stumbled onto a classified entrance or testing area. That the cave was something else entirely. This theory gained traction when people noticed something disturbing. 3 other hikers have gone missing in that same area since 2014. None have been found. Theory 4: Something else. Something nobody wants to say out loud. Because here's what makes this case truly unsettling. After Kenny's disappearance, multiple people tried to find the cave. Several reported finding caves in that area that gave them the same feeling Kenny described. That sense of wrongness. That vibration. None of them have been able to find the same cave twice. It's like the cave moves. Or appears only to certain people. Or only wants certain people to find it. In 2017, the Bureau of Land Management quietly posted signs in that area. No explanation. Just warnings to stay away. Local search and rescue has publicly asked people to stop looking for the cave. When asked why, they refused to elaborate. Kenny Veach walked into a cave and vanished in front of witnesses. His phone was found miles away, carefully placed. His belongings scattered like breadcrumbs. And somewhere in the Nevada desert, the cave is still out there. Maybe it's waiting. What do you think happened to Kenny Veach? Drop your theory in the comments, and be honest, would you go looking for the cave if you knew where it was? If you want more unexplained disappearances and mysteries that'll keep you up at night, hit that subscribe button. I post 3 news stories every single day at 6 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern. The next video is already queued up. I'll see you there.